Thursday edition of the Flagship. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me, Mr. Greg Jones, LB's Meat Market. We're going to talk some Ole Miss baseball as the Rebels travel to Louisiana this evening for a game against ULM. And then SEC play will start this weekend against top 25 South Carolina. The Rebs swept Morehead State over the weekend. We will get into that. Impressive showing from Mike Bianco and the rest of the crew over there. Getting back to the winning side of things. I believe that's 5-6 in a row. So yeah, big weekend as conference play is starts this weekend. We'll do a quick little rundown with basketball. Not a great weekend for hoops, but hey, still second round in the NCAA or excuse me, SEC tournament this weekend. Thursday, they will play Texas A&M again. All right, before we get into it, do want to remind you, show and Talk of Champions Studio, presented by College Corner. 3 locations. Go see them in Oxford, Sisk Avenue. If you're in town before baseball gets going this weekend against the Gamecocks, go check them out. They got the new cream baseball jersey. You can go purchase that. Pretty sharp. They've also got the Juice for President buttons and signs for your yard if you want to scoop that up. If you're not in town, no big deal. Just go to collegecornerstore.com and you can purchase those things and more. 3 locations, Oxford, Flowood, and Ridgeland. That's College Corner. Greg, good morning. Hell of a weekend for baseball, and it was a good weekend for horse racing too, right?
Yeah, well, we let's see, we beat Morehead State twice, and then the Savannah Bananas one day. Is that how that worked?
I actually saw some of the Savannah Bananas players at O'Hare over the weekend.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Man,
yeah.
I didn't realize that they were a traveling circus.
So yeah, for a while I did not know what it was, but it's basically if you're explaining it to someone like they're 5 years old, it's basically Harlem Globetrotters for baseball, which is fun.
That's fun.
They do a lot of cool stuff. I think they had Roger Clemens and Roy Oswalt pitch for him over the weekend.
Nice. Yeah. No, I mean, I've seen the stilts, the guy gets on stilts and tries it, it would be a fun thing to do. I'd like to go to one of those.
Yeah. But yeah, look, Morehead State went 0-3 over the weekend, but the uniforms were great.
Yeah, sure, I agree. Nice color code.
They were sharp.
Just like the new cream jersey. I mean, are you a fan?
I love it. I've been wanting some kind of throwback like that. I think it looks great. I like the hat with it too. And for those that are, I've seen some people, it needs like piping or the letters need to be outlined. Well, it's a true throwback because if you look at actual throwback uniforms,
they were
didn't have
wool and just had I mean, that was one of the things I loved about the Tigers old school uniforms. It literally just said it was an old, just an old thing. Just says Tigers, or Detroit on it. I like old school stuff like that. But yeah, you can't make everybody happy. But it was great. Did you know that they were going to drop a jersey, or did they have something in the works, or did they say hey, we're going to, did they, give a little hint or something? Because it seemed like just kind of out of the blue, they were just like new jerseys.
Well, so I do have, I got to plug our buddy Randy Morgan, who runs Ole Miss Unis. So he gets a lot of inside information on that. But I know that Ole Miss had been working on a new alternate. It's just Nike gets so backed up with orders and uniform requests, and it's just. I remember a couple years ago, I think the turnaround, if you wanted a new uniform set for an entire team, it was like a 2-3 year gap. It would take.
But now if you're a team named Oregon, you probably get multiple options because they're
get it the next week.
Next week. So the gray jerseys are officially in the dumpster, and they'll probably never come back.
I hope not. Especially the most recent gray ones were terrible. Like the mid 2000s grays were nice. Like
Yeah, I think there
the
was one.
the
I mean,
05, 06 teams, those were good.
yeah, I think there was one gray that I really liked, and it was a button down. It had rebel gray, red rebels or something like that. The blue, curvature with the gray on the sleeve. No,
Yeah,
stop.
Nike screwed those up because like Arkansas had them too, and they were bad for Arkansas. It was just that addition of the gray, whatever Nike was doing with that rendition of that gray uniform. It looked bad for everybody. Yeah, it basically looked like you had like pit sweat
Yeah,
on the uniform. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. So I'm assuming those are done.
yeah.
It's a pretty good looking set of uniforms now on the weekends with
Yeah,
the
I know
cream.
everybody's trying to hit that powder blue up. I know La Tech got it, and then Arizona picked it up, and so yeah, I mean it's a great look for sure. But nobody beats the traditional Ole Miss Sunday. We did it first.
Speaking of that, Ole Miss 3-0. The weekend rotation is starting to take some form. Gunnar Dennis looked good on Friday. And then I think Liam Doyle was the story for
Yeah,
me over the weekend. He had
for
some
sure,
nasty
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
talked about
You're
it.
gonna get that. You're gonna get that now that we got games going. Like it just. I mean, obviously Josh Mallett's his slider is almost unhittable. I mean, I wish we had a little bit more of that in the bullpen. Options where a lefty that throws a nasty slider, and because those are tough to hit. He's sneaky with the fastball strictly because of that slider.
Right. Yeah, the fastball can be a lot more effective when you've got people on their heels. If you're able to pitch backwards effectively, it can really alter some approaches. But yeah, I thought he looked good. And again, it's Morehead State, but I think a sign of a team that's really rounding into form is you're beating the teams you're supposed to beat the way you're supposed to beat them. And the lineup is really, I think some roles are being defined. Guys are getting comfortable. I mean, Andrew Fisher's seeing the ball well right now. And then, I mean, Ethan Leger might be one of the hotter hitters in the country.
Yeah.
He's knocking the cover off the baseball left and right. Was it four? Is it 3 home runs in 4 games? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, last one he hit probably didn't get 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah, I'd have to look and see what the exit velocity was, but it was hammered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think right now we've talked about it for the last month with all these transfers and guys that are trying to find their niche in the lineup or in the rotation. I think it's starting to take some shape. And then you get a Tuesday road game at ULM, and then you return home for South Carolina, where you're coming off spring break, where hopefully the students will be back in time for at least a Saturday, Sunday. But it's a top 25 opponent. Carolina's got they got some big boppers in the lineup. Messina hits the ball really far, and Carolina, a really good team a year ago. They're going to pose quite the challenge. And I think this is exciting. I talked about it last week where I said these kinds of teams where there are a lot of unknowns, I enjoy that more than as far as a coverage standpoint, where it's like, let's find out what we got instead of having everybody's back. They're great. So I'm excited to see how this team responds to a top 25 opponent this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there are some questions going in, but they're hitting the ball really good right now, and scoring runs, and pitching will come around. The catcher's going to come around too. I mean, I know he's batting, not batting really good, and kind of had a couple pass balls, but he's going to get tightened up, as the year comes along. So it is what it is. But yeah, you can't dig down in the dumpsters if you don't if you lose 2 out of 3 to South Carolina. They're a good club, but you just want to see how they react to a top 25 team coming into your home place.
29 home runs through the first 17 games of the year. Jackson Ross quietly hitting 396. We hadn't said much about him. He's just been pretty steady. Ethan Leger, Jackson Ross, Andrew Fisher, through 17 games, All OPSs north of 1.184. You got 1.306 and 1.257. That'll play all day. Leger leading the team, 415 average. Fisher at 304. Ethan Groff quietly having a really good year, hitting 302. Right now, it's really spread out where a lot of guys are doing a lot of things well. Trayson Hughes, transfer from Mercer, out the gates. He would probably admit he was terrible. Probably pressing a little too much to try to do too much. He's now
I think
boosted.
that's going to happen early on.
Yeah, sure.
It happens. I mean, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Get settled in. It's like breaking in a new pair of shoes. They're not going to feel great the first day, but about 2-3 days into it, you go, what? I like these shoes.
Yeah, he had a double over the weekend. Scored a couple runs, couple RBIs, stole a base over the weekend. He's kind of one of those where, he's up to 245 now, but he was south of 100 early in the season. Too good of a hitter to just be that bad all year. I think he would tell you, he was just trying to do too much early. Campbell Smithwick is not going to be this bad all year. He's a true freshman, but he's talented. Luke Hill, same thing. True sophomore, played a lot of baseball at Arizona State. He was recruited and out of the portal for a reason. These bats are going to come around, and then couple guys on the bench that I'm interested to see if they will get more opportunities moving forward. The main one for me is Drew Markle, the freshman out of Katy, Texas. Good looking prospect, true freshman, 6'4". Was originally committed to Texas, opted to leave the Lone Star State to come to Oxford. So that was a huge flip for Ole Miss. I really intrigued to see if he gets more opportunities. I know Reagan Burford, the captain, is playing second, but Marco is, probably the most likely the second baseman of the future. Maybe he draws the start on Tuesday night and get to see what he can do. But yeah, I'm intrigued by this baseball team. I know you weren't, I wasn't. We cautioned people. People were freaking out early in the year.
Yeah.
Like, it's way too early. Just let them gel.
Imagine going to Hawaii for a week, okay, and then somebody saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, we have to play 4 competitive games," and and everybo's going to base what the season's going to be like on these 4 games. So we do bad, and then we're going to have a bad. I mean, and I get it, man. We have a full brand new roster. We don't know what we have, and we are inventing, finding things, and it is what it is, and you just got to roll with it and let the cards fall where they fall. But it would be nice for one of these guys that were kind of off the radar come in and get clutch hits or pinch hits hit here and there. I know John Kramer came in the other day and when a pitch hitting situation, and he didn't get it done, but that's the reps that you need to get in games versus live game activities versus at practice. So I think they're fine. Obviously people will probably really freak out if we get swept this weekend, but it's you have to let the cards lie where they lie and find out what you're going to give, because who knows, you might have a bad start of the year, but you might finish really strong. So baseball comes in spurts. You gotta find the right spurt and at the right time, and you gotta find the right lineup. Whenever we had that run at the national championship, that lineup never kind of changed. It was always kind of same people in there, and we had some really good pitch hit opportunities. So it is what it is. But you got to steady the course.
Speaking of steadying the course, the rotation seems to be taking shape. I did see our very own Jake Thompson reported that JT Quinn was thrown in the bullpen on Sunday, so he was available if need be. I imagine Quinn will find himself back in the rotation at some point. Maybe he stays in the midweek. Maybe they move him to the bullpen. But right now, Gunnar Dennis, Liam Doyle, Grayson Saunier seem to be the 1-2-3 punch on the weekend. And then, hey, look, probably the understatement of the year, of the season so far through the first month, Austin Simmons is pretty
Yeah.
electric. I'm excited to see what he can do in SEC play. Well, let's see him come in a middle relief, late relief spot, and see if he can get a punch out late in a game to secure a victory, shut a rally down by somebody. I'm excited to see what he can do, because it seems like Kiffin and Bianco are on the same page where they're like, hey, just we're gonna let him play. Like,
And that's
Kiffin
the
doesn't
thing
seem to
that
have an issue.
I think that's what's so great about Kiffin and Bianca. They're like, hey, look, this kid's an athlete. He is raw. He is young. Let's let him roll.
And I think it's mostly like he actually helps the team. This isn't like a
Yeah.
gimmick or like, hey, the football player's out here now. Like, everybody clap. And like, no, like he can
No,
deal.
it was like a Sinquez thing. Like, Sinquez was. He did the. He was kind of like. He was a great baseball player. But you could tell he was going to be more of a football player, and so that's kind of. But it's really worked out really well, and I love it. I think that there should be. I wish Tyrone Malone was still here. I wish they'd have let him do whatever, and, have that relationship that they had, with Simmons.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group. He can help you with any of your health insurance needs. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, regular health plans, to life insurance, to dental and vision, and even Medicare. He has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449. 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today.
Do want to remind everybody, podcast also brought to you by Black Type Thoroughbreds. If you have a passion for horse racing or you're just interested in learning a lot more, partner with them, invest. Wide portfolio of elite horses, diversified lineup, more chances. That's my thing. Is like, this just gives you more chances to win, more races to see. This is a brand that has raced in Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks, Breeders' Cup. And I mean, just for me, like, as someone who is trying to learn more about this and trying to educate myself, I mean, this is who you need to help you. I mean, just expertise, the integrity, the experience. Been around it for a long time. I mean, that's wild. Greg, like the thrills of owning a racehorse or investing in a racehorse.
I was telling you before we started, I had a group of guys. We were just put the horse racing on the TV, and they had no idea what was going on. But I was like, hey, look, just pick a number, and we'll just have fun with it. And they all put $5 together, and they all picked a horse, and and it was, and when the one guy's like, so what just happened? And I'm like, well, you lost. So that's, you lost your $5, but you came in second though. I mean, that's good,
Yeah.
But no, it's I don't know. I don't know. It's just the most, adrenaline that you can get, in 2 minutes. Now most 6 furlong races are, 1 minute, but whenever the whole anticipation of the Kentucky Derby, because there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people there, and that you've been drinking and you've been waiting for this. It was funny. I had one person tell me, they're like, they race horses every day. I'm like, oh yeah, Monday through Sunday. I mean, it's like there's multiple tracks everywhere. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's just something about it. The build up. Whenever. Say for example, when Rich Strike won the race, won the Kentucky Derby a couple years ago, he just came out of the clouds, just came out of nowhere. And, because everybody was concentrated on Epicenter, and Zandon, at the lead, Duke and, going back and forth. And, they didn't really see Rich Strike come up the rail and just, sneak right up and get them at the wire. So it's just, you never know what happens in a horse race. You can always have I've always been a big fan of, you can't win the race unless you're not in the race. And that's just like football, baseball, any other sport. You can't win the game unless you're not in it. So and it's cool. What's great about Black Type and Jake and them is you get in as what you want. They're not going to pressure you and say, well, we'd prefer you to do this. Well, we want you to do what you want to do. And like last week they had a nice win with team captain at Gulfstream, and he's that was his 4th race. And it takes time for some of these horses. I know I talked to Jake last night, and he said that he's big and goofy, and and he might finally have a light cut on, and that's what happens. Say for example, my filly is running Sunday, so I'll be in New Orleans on Sunday. So she's run on the grass for the last 4 races, and she's kind of had some bad luck her first 2 races. And we switched over to a trainer, and he immediately said, he's like, you know what, we need to try her on the dirt. And so she's going to run her first race on the dirt Sunday, and who knows, she might like the dirt, and she might win by 2 or 3 lengths, or she might not like the dirt, and we have to start over from scratch. But that's what you have to do. You have to have a game plan. You got to figure out what the horse likes. And not every single horse is going to like dirt. Some like turf, but you got to figure it out. And it's just like a baseball team with the lineup. You figure out who to put in the top of the lineup, in the middle of the lineup. So but no, team captain had a big win, and what is it? Barbatina. She will be running on the 23rd at Turfway, and she's hopefully win some points for the Kentucky Oats, and get her in the Kentucky Oats. I know that Jake owns her half sister, so it's good to own the half sister, and the other half sister wins a stakes race. So that means her half sister's value increases. So there's a lot of different things that go on in the horse industry. So I talked to him last night. He's really mad at Drake right now because Drake showed up in Lexington last night. So his wife the boss left him for Drake last night, and he had to take care of 7 dogs, 4 horses, and 2 awesome kids. But he's been doing Dr. Dad this for the last couple of days. So he needs to take a nap probably.
Yeah. If you want to learn more about Black Type, check out blacktypetb.com. Greg, they might be the only people in Lexington this week, as it's the SEC basketball tournament in Nashville. And as you know, every single Kentucky fan travels to Nashville.
Yeah, well, he's a Houston guy, so he likes his chances in the national championship game this year. Houston,
they blasted Kansas over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean Houston's tough, man. They it's a totally different style. Like he went to the Cincinnati game, and he's like, man, they just wear on you. They pick you up at half court, and they're all and that goes back to that to coaching. So that's sometimes that style works, sometimes it doesn't. Whenever you try to keep a team to 50, you have to stay in your game plan. And if somebody hits a couple outshot shots, you can't freak out, because I know a couple of times they've been down early, but they stuck to the game plans, kept playing defense, and end up winning 65, 58 every single time. So they're a good team to put in your bracket. That is for sure.
Yeah, it certainly helps a lot with your NIL when you've got Tillman Fertitta and Mattress Mac helping you out too. But yeah, Kelvin Sampson's a hell of a coach. Houston's legit. That's a bona fide 1 seed. They're gonna be hell in the NCAA tournament. But going back to Black Type, check them out, blacktypetb.com. You can call them 713-540-9000. Email them, info@blacktypetv.com. You can sign up for the newsletter, all of that at the website. Yeah, just check them out. Like if you want to dabble, invest a little bit, become an investor, like is easy. Just go send them a message.
And that's the thing is you're investing. Not only you're investing money, you're getting to invest your time and getting to do things. And I'm very fortunate that I've networked myself with a couple people in Lexington and a couple people in Florida, and a lot of different places that the horses take you. So it's awesome. I had one of our guys I met down in New Orleans, Kenny. His son had a robotics contest at the Tad Pad. It was like a robotics. Anyway, he's really, really smart kid. And Kenny and his son came, and I gave them Meat Man hats, and he told me he's like, man, this kid hasn't taken this Meat Man hat off. He loves this hat. So, and we got some tumblers, some LB's Meat Market tumblers. So
nice.
We're trying to get some merch going, and man, it's just it's been cool to be a part of the horse racing. And who knows, there might be somebody out there that might find a passion that they didn't even know they had, like me. So it's cool to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Meat Man, before we get out of here, with baseball this weekend, folks getting back into town, what you got at the shop this weekend?
Well, let's see. Well, it's Monday, so we usually record on Wednesday. So just getting the order, and spring break this week, so I don't think we're going to be that busy, but the store is going to be open. I'm going to be here. I let some of the guys off work, so hopefully we're a little bit busy during the week, but always going to have that lane train. We're going to do them $10 every day, man. If you want a really nice 5 to 6 ounce bacon wrap filet for $10, you can come and get it at LB's every single day. So always mention the podcast. That helps because I don't advertise the $10 every single day. It's normally $12, but on Wednesdays and Sunday we do it. But when you mention the podcast, always take care of our customers, or give a little extra, because it's awesome to get feedback on that, and it helps us keep doing what we're doing. Because my mom asked me the other day, she goes, Greg, how are your podcasts doing? I go, man, they're great. Me and Zach, we have fun. We get to talk every single week, and we get to talk about Rebs baseball and stuff that hopefully people like and will listen to and keep listening to. So it's always good whenever you mention the podcast, because it helps the business, and it helps the small business keep going, because that's you got to support the small business in the long run.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, as they say, Greg, a $10 bacon wrap filet, can't beat it with a stick. So go see Greg. That's 2008 University Avenue in Oxford, Mississippi. Yeah, tell him you listen to the podcast. Tell him you're a member at the Ole Miss Spirit. Whatever. Just tell him something. He'll hook it up. You got baseball this weekend. I think we had a frost this morning here in Nashville, but I think the weather is just eerily close to turning, where it's going to be just really nice, grilling out, drinking outside on the patio weather, and watching some Ole Miss baseball and betting on horses. So go
I
see
love
Greg.
how we've added that to the podcast.
Yeah,
hey, watch your Rebel baseball, and then put a little small TV over on Santa Anita. The Sevens live in the 5th race.
Yeah. So go to LB's, get you some meat for the weekend, get you some sausage, all of that at the shop. Mention the podcast. He'll get you set up for the weekend. So
even tell your friends, just say, hey, look, if you mention something about the podcast, like, you don't even have to listen to the podcast. Just mention something to him. He'll be really excited about it. So no, it's we do some good stuff. We're starting to do $3 off this week on the freezer all week. So you can come in and stock your freezer up, and there's some really good deals at LB's, and you got to just take advantage of them. That where can you get a 5 to 6 ounce bacon wrap filet for $10? I don't even think Costco does that.
I don't think anybody does, but Greg does, and everybody over there at LB's will take care of you. So go check them out. That's 2008 University Avenue. We appreciate College Corner sponsoring the show, and Black Type Thoroughbreds as well for being a part of the team. That'll do it for this Tuesday edition of the Flagship. Enjoy baseball this evening. If you can get to Nashville, go see the Rebs take on Texas A&M again. At worst,
got to rebound better. Got to when the ball is shot, we have to go get the ball whenever the other team shoots or whatever. But yes, have to rebound a lot better.
Yeah. So you got basketball this week, and then you got baseball obviously this weekend against South Carolina at Swayze Field. Will be fun. SEC play already here. So for Greg over there, I'm Zach. This has been the Flagship. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember to tell them you heard it on the podcast. Get your lane train, get your sausage, get everything at LB's, and check out Black Type Thoroughbreds, blacktypetb.com. So until next week, we're out of here.